Very warm welcome, all. I take immense pleasure in inviting you all for one-day international virtual workshop on behalf of Department of Computer Science, Kitchen Manufacturing College. The session will start soon. All of the participants kindly wait for 5 minutes.
Good morning to you, madam.
Very good morning, sir.
நான் அங்க போய் உட்கார்ந்துடுறேன்.
Madam, are we starting?
No, sir, we are not yet starting, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, you are audible, madam.
Okay, sir. Just 5 minutes, sir. Our advisor will join soon. After that, we will start the session.
I think there are many people joined in YouTube also.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We'll start within 5 minutes, sir.
Okay, I will wait for your
ஒண்ணுமே வரல. Hello, everyone. Good morning to all. Participants.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning,
Good
madam.
morning, sir.
Good morning. Is it audible?
Sir, I'm happy to welcome you, sir, to this platform. We'll wait for a few minutes, sir. Our advisor will be coming, so we'll start, sir.
Okay.
Welcome to all. The session will start within few minutes. Participants are asked to wait few more minutes patiently. So many people have been joined in YouTube link also. On behalf of Department of Computer Science, you're all warm welcome those participants also.
Madam, if there is a delay, then we can ask the participants to introduce themselves so that they'll be talking to each other.
Okay, sir. Sure,
Instead
sir.
of, instead of maintaining silence, let them talk to introduce themselves.
Participants, those who are interested, you can introduce yourselves. Instead of keeping silent waiting, we can make this session as an interactive one. So participants, those who want to introduce yourself, you can introduce now.
Madam, your sound is little feasible. Increase the sound.
Oh, sure, sir. Okay, sir. Am I audible now?
It's little better, but still more sound maybe.
Okay, sir. I'll try to speak in louder, sir.
Yeah, or maybe keep the speaker phone close to you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Jayashree madam, you can introduce your introduction can be you can start your own introduction start with. Yes, madam. Yes, you are visible, madam. Please introduce yourself and ask the other participants also to introduce before we start quickly.
Okay, sir. Okay, so sir, I'm M. Priya, Senior Coordinator for the Departments of Computer Science, Bank Management and Marketing Management, BCom Information Systems and Management, sir. I'm also one of the faculty in Computer Science Department. Let Maheshwari, madam, you please introduce yourself.
Good morning all. I'm Ms. Maheshwari, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Agachet Kanwal Jain College.
Okay, other faculty from your college
Faculty
Yes, sir.
members.
who are available.
Sir, our department.
Madam, since many people are waiting from YouTube, we can start, maybe we can stop when the management people come, and
Okay,
we
sir.
can, so that
Okay, sir.
we can save time.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We will start now.
Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So
thank you.
we will start the session with the prayer song.
Yes.
So a very warm welcome you all. Prayer, the key to all the treasures of this life on the hereafter. Let's start the session with Jain Mahamantra followed by Tamil Thai Valtu.
Audio கேக்குது.
கேக்குது. கேக்குது.
Madam, nothing is audible.
Parvati
Every moment is a fresh new beginning, a wonderful inauguration of a great cosmic journey through the universe. We can do whatever we want, we can change reality at any moment. I proudly welcome Dr. Ramashri, advisor, shifted to felicitate the chief guest and deliver the inaugural address.
Good morning to all. A warm welcome to everyone gathered here through online for the International Virtual Workshop on Research Ethics. I'm happy to welcome our resource person, Dr. Harinarayana Sir, Director, Energy and Sponsored Research Consultancy, B.S. Abdul Rahman, President, Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai, and Dr. Sultan Khalifa Harun I. Rashid, Research Fellow, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, RMIT University, Melbourne City, Australia, and our advisor, Dr. M. Ramashri Madam. Ethics means a system of moral principles which involves systemizing, defining, and recommending concepts of right behavior. Ethics is required in all fields of life for its smooth functioning. In today's workshop, we are going to learn from our speakers that why is ethics required in research and what are research ethics. On behalf of our management, director, advisors, coordinators, and staff, once again, I welcome you all for this workshop and get the benefit of it. Thank you.
I proudly welcome Dr. Ramashri, advisor, shifted to felicitate the chief guest.
I am extremely glad to make a special mention that the Department of Computer Science has shown a remarkable march towards organizing this one-day international virtual workshop on research ethics. Our chief guest, Dr. T. Harinarayana, Director, Energy and Sponsored Research and Consultancy at BSAR, Crescent Institute of Institute of Science and Technology, Vandaluru, Chennai, and Dr. Sultan Khalifa Harun, A.I. Rashid, Royal Melbourne University Institute of Technology, Melbourne City Campus, Victoria, Australia. Both of them are the eminent speakers who may lay a strong foundation as a stepping stone in upgrading the research knowledge among our participants. There are several reasons why it is important to adhere to the ethical norms. ethical norms in research. First, we can say it is equally essential to promote the aim of research, such as knowledge, truth, and avoidance of error. Secondly, since the research often involves the great deal of cooperation and coordination among many different people in different disciplines and institutions, ethical standards really promotes the values that are equally essential to collaborative work, such as trust, accountability, mutual respect, and fairness. Thirdly, we can say that there are many ethical norms that helps to ensure that researchers can be held accountable to the public. Fourthly, we can say ethical norms in research also helps in building public support for research. People are more likely to uh, fund the research project if they can trust the quality and integrity of research. And as we know the fact that there are different disciplines of research, the participants of today's workshop may belong to not only the computer science related specialization, and we have the audience as the participants for the today's workshop from various disciplines, even from the social sciences too, apart from the computer science background. And I would like to say that research is a continuous process, searching again and again and again. Research knowledge is like an ocean. Today's program may go in a very long way that may benefit all the participants to pursue their research activities further and further. And I can say that there are different norms of research that promotes variety of other important moral and social values, such as social responsibility, human rights, animal welfare, compliance with the law, and public health and safety. I'm sure that you all will feel enriched with the knowledge after the completion of this event. And I extend a warm welcome to the speakers of the day as the chief guest and as the guest of honor in carrying out today's research program, that is workshop, a successful one. Thanks to one and all.
Thank you, madam. The focus of entertaining is impressing others. The focus of true hospitality is serving others. It's pleasure in welcoming Ms. K. Punitha, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, to introduce about the speaker.
Good morning to everyone. On behalf of Department of Computer Science, I am proud to introduce our chief guest, eminent speaker, Dr. T. Harinarayana. He is the Director, Energy and Sponsored Research Consultancy at BSAR Crescent Institute of Science and Technology, Vandalur, Chennai. He was the Director General of Gujarat Energy Research and Management Institute, Gandhinagar, Gujarat, for the 6 years, 2011 to 2017. Out of 38 years of his career, he has over 30 years of research experience with CSIR NGRI Hyderabad as Director's Grade Scientist. He is a leading scientist recognized among national and international scientists for his excellence in geo-exploration, deep EM technique, and magnetotellurics. His research publication record has crossed more than 100. His current research interests are energy, environment, geohazards, and promotion of sponsored projects and consultancy. His brief achievements at national and international can be summarized as follows. He is a recipient of National Mineral Award, Government of India, 1991. He is a recipient of Best Research Award, Government of Andhra Pradesh. He has pioneered geothermal exploration research throughout India. He achieved major research findings in geo-exploration, EQ studies, deep crustal studies. He has visited more than 33 countries around the world on various occasions. He was a member of various international bodies, IUGG, IAGA, EMIW, EMSEV, etc. He was a research supervisor and guided more 6 PhD students. His first time achievements. He introduced marine magnetotelluric technique in India and delineated large thickness of sediments in Gulf of Kutch, Gujarat. He done the first research international publication in the world on Indian tsunami. He introduced agricultural solar projects in Gujarat being emulated in the country. He managed 5 NW solar projects in Gandhinagar city, Gujarat, along with GOG. As head of the institute, GRMI, he lead the institute from Gujarat state to national level. In his term as a Director General, the institute has achieved many achievements. Professor T. Harinarayana holds 2 doctoral degrees in geophysics, one from Edinburgh University, UK, and the other from Indian School of Mines, Dunbar. His academic and research excellence created opportunities for him to serve as a visiting professor and scientist at the University of Tokyo, Japan, and the University of Texas at Austin, USA, respectively. He has also organized and chaired a large number of national and international conference, seminars, and technical sessions. Thank you. Let's have the knowledge treat from our chief guest.
Thank you, madam. Education is not the learning of facts, but training of the mind to think. It's time to start the session. I feel very glad to welcome Professor Dr. T. Harinarayana, Director, Energy and Sponsored Research Consultation, to address the session. Sir.
Yes, thank you very much, madam. I'm going to start the thing and soon. Is it my screen is visible to all? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay. So I'm putting the full screen. Now the full screen has come. Madam, full screen has come?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
It came.
So the title is very clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, organizers. First of all, I would like to thank Agurchin Manmul Jain College of Chennai for this invitation. And also I would like to thank the organizers, Jayasri Madam, Ramasri Madam, and Punita Sri Madam, who has introduced me and introduced the subject and given a brief introduction. There is small delay. I will try to cover up the time as much as possible. I planned my talk for about 1.5 hours or so. So let me start the topic. So today's topic is research ethics, software tools for doing research publications in peer-reviewed journals. Before learning on software tools, which my colleague is going to talk, Dr. Sultan is going to talk more on the software tools. So what we need to understand today before that is the 2 basic things. One is the research philosophy, another is the ethics. Okay. So now I planned for today's talk in 2 parts, as I told you. Part 1 is research philosophy and part 2 is ethics. In research philosophy, I'm going to talk now on these 9 topics. One is the research problem itself, and what are the things on our history, and who are the great philosophers in the world and also in India. I'm talking about your society in the past, wider aspects of the philosophy, and there are technical terms like epistemology, metaphysics, and axiology. So I'm going to touch upon these aspects. Then I'll talk upon education and philosophy, and finally provide a small summary out of it. So after what is the objective of this topic? The topic objective is, after hearing this particular talk, it will stimulate your critical thinking. You're all studying various degrees and diplomas and going to achieve PhDs, which is the top degree in education. That means you are all going to become great philosophers. You are going to get a degree in philosophy, doctor of philosophy, that is a PhD. So my talk should stimulate you for critical thinking, stimulate you for analytical thinking, and also you should be able to find individual differences and also appreciate a particular whole person, how to understand the whole person, and also human thoughts and behavior, and ethics, professional ethics and conduct, and also how to develop your skills for your own career and achieve great things in your own life. The research for problem formulation, you're all, majority of you have already registered for PhD, are trying to complete a PhD, are going to get the doctoral degree in a research. So you need to know beforehand what is the research problem. Then what are the sources of the problem, research problem? How to deal with the problem? What is the criteria for selecting a good research problem? And if you do not select the criteria, you find it a problem. That means you are finding some type of an error in selecting the research problem. So what are those errors you should avoid? So you need to avoid that. You need to know different types of research problems, and also how to make yourself argue your results in a perspective way to get your PhD degree. If you see the research process, there are mainly 3 different steps. For example, there are essential first step in phase 1, and the second step is related to data collection, and the third one is related to analysis and interpretation. So if you see the phase 1, first of all, before you start, you need to clarify the issue you want to research, and you have to select the proper methodology to solve the particular issue. And this is essential question because if it is unclear, if your problem is unclear or too broad, it cannot be answered. Say there are problems like earthquake prediction. It's too broad. You cannot solve this problem with your PhD, but you can work towards that, but you cannot find the thing. So you need to be very careful in choosing. You should not be too broad, and at the same time, you should not be negligibly small. You should be optimal. So research methodology, it allows you to do research and conduct a plan according to the plan which you are going to have, and you can execute that. You have to clarify the question and method. It enables the researcher to be clearer about the data that is needed, to make a decision about what sample size is required for your problem, whether it is small or it is large. You have to do some statistical analysis to check up whether your sample size is optimal or not. In phase 2 of your problem, you have started collecting the data. You can do a lot of modeling and then you can get the data. You can do a lot of surveys. You can do interviews. You can do literature survey. You can do observation of the participants, etc., etc. You can also make real experiments and do actual measurements, and also you can collect the data. You can consider large database already available in the public domain. That could be your data. So data could be in any form and any direction and any resource. And finally, you have to summarize and organize the data before you starting the analysis. In phase 3 of your work, it will be analysis and interpretation, relating the data to the research question, and then drawing conclusions from your analysis. And also, one should not forget to tell the limitations of your results, limitations of your findings. Before going to take up research, it is very important to understand what problems our ancestors have experienced, how they have suffered, and how they have solved. The scientists or philosophers, why I'm calling you philosophers, like you are going to get a PhD. What is PhD? PhD is a doctor of philosophy. You're all going to be philosophers. So you should know how our ancestors have transformed our society through their knowledge. To know the past history of mankind and sufferings related to our, there are several things, several phenomena our society has passed in. It has passed in slavery. You cannot think of slavery today. Are you going to become a slave to somebody else? It is unbelievable, unimaginable, but it has happened in our society. It has happened to our mankind before. And also colonialism, discrimination of women, child marriages, untouchability, skin color favoritism. There are various problems our society has undergone. The great philosophers like you, they have changed the society to the present condition. In order to understand, you're all engineers, you're all science graduates and all, you need to at least understand what actually happened to the society in the past. Instead of reading many books, I have chosen the 6 popular movies. If you have time, please go through these movies. Then you understand how our society has suffered in the past. Society means people like you and me. So the 6 movies I was suggesting to you, all of you, is Birth of a Nation, Amistad, Lincoln, Ben-Hur, Django, 12 Years as a Slave. These are the great movies. If you can see and involve yourself, just don't see like a popular movie, like a entertainment movie, but involve yourself. What actually happened? How our society has suffered in the past? Why it has changed now? Who has changed it? Why it has changed it? What makes them to make it change? These are the things you need to stimulate yourself. You need to think yourself. You all know that you got already several degrees like BSc, BTech, BE, MSc. Now you are at a very final stage of highest degree like PhD. That means Doctor of Philosophy. That means you're all going to become philosophers. So we expect the younger generation, after acquiring this degree, not just simply go for betterment for yourself, but think of changing the society at large. What is philosophy? Now you are talking about philosophy. What is philosophy? Philosophy is actually a Greek word. Philosophy means love. Philos means love. Sophia means wisdom. So you should develop your affection towards wisdom. That is called philosophy. Philosophers are people who seek to understand the nature of things. Okay, so what are the major philosophies are there? There are idealism philosophy, realism philosophy, pragmatism philosophy, existentialism philosophy. These are all the various types of philosophies which are exist, which has helped the society to think differently and change it for betterment of our people, betterment of our society in the world. These are the great philosophers. Who are they? Who has changed it? These are all great philosophers. I just chosen 10 of them. There are many philosophers available. For example, Pythagoras, Aurelius, Augustine, Adam, Darwin. You know, many people like this. They all think much differently, and they change the society for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of the people. For they have reduced the great sufferings of the people. Having said that, we also have Indian philosophers. They contributed a lot in Indian society. For example, they are Vivekananda, Muhammad Iqbal, Chanakya, Ambedkar, Dr. Ambedkar, and Dr. Dayananda Saraswati. These are the people, they have contributed a lot. They don't have a PhD degree except Dr. Ambedkar. They don't have a PhD degree, but they contributed a lot to the society for towards betterment, towards living comfortably. What are their contributions? If we can ask what are each person's contribution, these are the things they have contributed a lot. See, Vivekananda has studied Vedanta and yoga, and he has preached to the world what is the Indian Vedantam says. what is our yoga says, and how to practice yoga. These are the things which he taught to the West. That's why he became a great philosopher. Muhammad Iqbal, he contributed a lot for the Urdu poetry. Chanakya, yes, the first economics, great economics of our in the history of India is Chanakya. And Ambedkar is the person who has fought for equal rights. Before him, there is no equal right. For lower caste people, one type of right, and higher caste people, different types of rights. He is a person who fought, and then the same principles he has written our constitution with that philosophy. And Dayananda Saraswati, he is the person who first revolted against Britishers and started the movement that says that India is for Indians, not for others. Please get out of my country. So that type of a movement he brought. So that's why we call them these people. There are many other people also in various places, which I am not discussing with today for lack of time. But these are the well-known philosophers. Just to take it as an example. Why I'm showing this is, you all take one of these persons as your role model and follow their principles. Try to change the society as much as you can for betterment. What is philosophy? You are talking about what about philosophy? What is meant by philosophy? Philosophy is the study that seeks to understand miseries and the existence of life. It tries to discover the nature of truth. It also examines the relationship between humanity and nature, between individual and the society. That is the philosophy. Philosophy arises out of wonder, curiosity. The term philosophy cannot be defined precisely, exactly. This is the philosophy. It is complex. Different philosophers have different views. We should respect that. The term philosophy itself comes back from the Greek, as I told you, philosophia. Philosophical thought is inescapable part of human existence. As long as the human beings exist, the philosophical thought exists within them. Almost everybody has puzzled from time to time by different types of questions within themselves, or they must have heard from somebody else. What does it mean by life? You are talking about life. What does it mean by life? Where I was born before, whether the life exists after my death. These are all some of the philosophical questions. Most people have some kind of philosophy in the sense that a personal outlook of a life. Even a person who claims that no, it's a waste of time. Talk about philosophy. I will do my computer. I will do my computer modeling and I will get the results. That's enough. What is this philosophy? I'm not an art student. I'm a science student. I'm an engineering student. You may think that way. The question is, if somebody says that, no, I don't believe in philosophy, is also a one type of philosophy. Philosophy are very, very different kinds. So philosophy has got enormous influence on our everyday lives. In every language, we speak and we classify from philosophy. For example, the classifications of noun and verb. In a sentence, there will be noun and verb. That is one type of philosophy. If we ask, what is the difference? We are starting a philosophically. What is the difference between this one and that one? That itself is a philosophy. So whenever there is a philosophy, the three things will act in our brain. One is through mind, then through knowledge, and then you try to get the answers, how we have come into picture and what are things in the past. All these things will come into existence. The normal day-to-day problems is connected to the mind, knowledge, and existence. The values and language among other human beings interact with each other and with other things and their environment. If you ask for a definition of a philosophy, as I told you, it's very complex. Everybody has got a different way of looking at these things. Everybody has got different perceptions, different paths for the philosophy. Philosophy, according to say, philosophy is the science of knowledge. I'm not going to read all the things, just to say that according to Dr. Radhakrishnan, philosophy is a logical inquiry into the nature of reality. So if you put a logical question to the what is actually happening in the nature, actually happening in the society, that type of thing is called philosophy according to Dr. Radhakrishnan. So like that, there are several people have defined in a different way. You go through them leisurely, all these definitions, and see what type of philosophy you would like to follow, what type of philosophy you would like to promote, what type of philosophy you like to very much, so that you can propagate. Why we need menu? Suppose fine, these are all issues are there. Good. Now the question is why we need philosophy. To understand the word philosophy, we need to think critically, analyze the history and changes happened in the society in the past. If you understand the what actually in the things happened in the past, then you understand the philosophy very much. We all know that capitalism was ruling the world earlier. Due to different various philosophers, then it has changed to where revolutionary thinking, it has changed to communalism, socialism, equality. These things are born from the great philosophers. They suffered to bring their philosophy into the forefront, into the society, but they sacrificed their lives to believe their values. Once slavery was being practiced, can you think of you are a slave to somebody today? You never accept this, but our people have accepted, our people have practiced before. Who has changed it? It is the people like you, who are the great philosophers like you, has changed it. That's why we are living in a little better society. The concept of monopoly is replaced with equality. It used to be that I am a great man, you are a poor man. So like that, there are various differences. I will belong to a high caste person, you are not. So get lost. That type of inequalities exist before. It a lot of things have changed. Now, according to the law and according to the various societies, equality stays back. Equality now prevailing. All barbaric acts, which if you see these films and all, if you involve yourself, you will get perturbed. Oh my God, our people lived like this before. Thank God I'm not living in this society. So that society is gone. A new society has come. New world order has come. So you are now in that society. But is it enough? Okay, we completely changed. The answer is big no. It is not changed completely. We are now still fighting. What is the present day situation? We are fighting for gods. Hey, my God is good. Your God is not. God A is good. God B is not. God C is greater than B. B is better than A. Who are we to say that? That is the thing we are fighting in the society now. Now, the younger philosophers like you need to change this concept. Think of now 2020. We are in 21st century. Think of 24th century. How the people, your own grandchildren, what they think about you. Oh, I'm sorry, my ancestors live like this. They used to fight like this. They are going to laugh at us if we do not change the society. Now the younger generations like you need to change this concept for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of the well-being. Now you see how the capitalism was there before, like this. On the right hand side, a person with full of money, and the left hand side, a person is very poor. They used to exploit this. Capitalist people used to exploit the poor people. Capitalism, an economic system. What is capitalism? It is an economic system in which production of goods, services, they are private. This is mine, is my area. I am a Raja. I am a Jamindar. I got this much land. All this land is mine. You have to take a rent for this land. Otherwise, I kill you. Otherwise, I punish you. This was there. This type of a mentality was there before. All gone. This was the situation before. One person or one family or one thing. They used to control everything. They control law. They control power. They control electronic goods. They control construction. They control even medical. They control army. They control factories. They control everything. One family. Previously, used to call the rajas or kingdoms who used to do this. It's gone. All gone. We are in a better society. I will not say best society. It's a better society than before. Wider meaning of philosophy. Let us look a little bit more on this. It's a particular way of looking at things. How you look at things. Now you're all studying various subjects like engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, computer engineering, and also subject sciences like physics, chemistry, biology, zoology, whatever, X, Y, Z. How you look at the things is important. The philosophy, if you understand the total thing about philosophy, then you can appreciate better how our ancestors have changed the society. Different stages of research and knowledge gain. See, there are various terms. You can see what is ontology. Ontology says, what is reality? The question is, what is reality? Epistemology says, how can I know the reality? Okay, reality is there. How can I know it? How can I get a knowledge about this reality? Then the approach to get the knowledge. What are the approaches? That is theory. And methodology, what procedure can I follow to acquire knowledge? Then what are the methods? The tools. What are the tools available to acquire knowledge? And the sources, what are the data that we can collect? These are the different stages of the research and also the knowledge gain. Actually, philosophy is a junction between epistemology, ontology, metaphysics, and axiology. These are the things. This is a center part of it. So once you have a good philosophical, then you can tackle anything. Philosophy is study of a general and fundamental problems of all these things of knowledge. What is epistemology? I already told you, it is a branch of philosophy concerned with the nature and scope of knowledge. This means production of knowledge, skepticism about different knowledge claims. Main concerns about metaphysics is what is truth and what is untruth, what is soul, what is God. See, these are all the philosophical questions we need to ask ourselves. Even in your own subject, you can ask these questions. What is who has created this universe? Where is the God? You are all saying God. Where is the God? I am not seeing. These are again philosophical question, metaphysics question. And who has created the universe? That is again another question. See, like that, there are several questions. These are all part of the philosophy. And somebody can believe in occupation. I do not need any help. You know, there are different parts below my own feet. If I press at something, then inner part of the body will be stimulated. So this is a particular type of philosophy. Is a particular types of practice presently going on. This is another type of philosophy. I'm just giving an example to think yourself. There are various types of philosophies exist in our society. Then you also should know what is the difference between education and philosophy. Education is a practical thing. Philosophy is a theoretical thing. In education, actual process of educating is a matter of actively dealing with the factors like teaching, organizing, and things like that. In philosophy, you ask a question You create a theory. You examine the facts or reality. That is philosophy. So now I'm coming to the second part. My time is up to 11:30. Now I already completed 11:05. I'll go up to 11:40, 11:45 to complete all the other slides because lack of time, I'm just going little bit rushing towards the slides. Okay. In ethics, I'm going to touch upon these aspects. I'm going to tell about objectives and what is business ethics, how the details of ethics, what is ethical conduct, what is ethics in workplace. You're all working in different places. It could be university, it could be institutions, it could be a company, it could be a factory, anyway. So what are the ethics in the workplace? Achieving success due to good ethics. How to achieve success due to good ethics. And also I will touch upon morality and principles and moral persons as a role model for your life, which you can choose and follow. And morality, what is that morality in religion? What is the morality available in law? What is moral? What is immoral? And you will also learn today what is amoral. Moral, immoral, and amoral. And finally, I'm going to give a summary out of it. So the objectives of ethics is a study of human behavior and evaluation. It establishes standards, moral standards, and moral behaviors. It makes judgment based on the ethics, based on the behavior the persons are following or persons are behaving. It prescribes moral behavior. It expresses opinion. If you say that you tell me X, Y, Z, then I will tell his character. The people know already about their character. Oh, A is bad, B is good, C is excellent. So you can form an opinion based on not his face, not on his dress, not his what he's eating, or now what he's sleeping, but based on his character, based on his conduct. One can judge the persons. Let me tell you what is the definition from philosophy. Who needs it? It applies to everybody and every aspect of life. We need ethics. It depends upon our character, our action, determines our relationship to existence, all existence. It defends a code of values. It guides choices and actions. It determines the course of our life. So your ethics is important because it determines your course of your life from now onwards. I don't know in which direction you have come. At least from today, you need to choose which type of ethics you want to follow from tomorrow. Ethics involves asking a question about life. Ethics requires examining which is right and which is wrong. Ethics examines what is good and what is bad. Ethics assists us how to behave. It helps you how you should behave. There are business ethics. See, ethics are various sectors. I'm talking about business ethics. Comprises principles and standards that guide behavior in the world of business. According to business ethics can be described as a systematic study of moral matters pertaining to business, industry, related activities, institutions. It could be your university, it could be your college, or practices and belief. It is a systematic handling of values in business. What is the value you are following in your business? When business people are asking business ethics, they usually mean three of the things. What is your business ethics? Then they say, the thing is, we avoid breaking criminal laws. We avoid, which may result in civil loss. We avoid actions that are bad for the company image. These are the three different questions a business comes under business ethics. If you see meaning of ethics, how a character of a person is decided by conduct of a person. The conduct of a person which leads to certain actions. Because of his conduct, because of his behavior, he entered into different types of actions. How? It can be good, it can be bad, it can be right, it can be wrong, it can be moral, it can be immoral. These type of actions decides the standards of the person, the moral standards. Again, this moral standards decides the conduct of a person. Just follow this flow diagram, you will understand the meaning of ethics much better way. Ethics can be termed as the science of character of a person, expressed as right or wrong conduct. So, views on relationship between business and ethics. So, there is a law, business and morality cannot be separated. When you are doing business, you follow morals, good morals, follow good ethics. You know, in our society, there are hundreds and thousands of companies. But some of the companies, they never ever deceive the person. They follow ethical laws. They follow morals. For example, the Tata companies. For example, the Infosys companies. They want business in a systematic way, in a moral way, following moral values, in an ethical way. That's why it has grown like anything. But many companies which were following unethical things, immoral things, the wrong way of doing things, they may prosper for a short time. In the long run, they fall. So the moral structure and moral ethics should be an integral part of any business. See, integration view of ethics. See, this is proposed by Talcum Parsons. How business, the government also do business. The market system do business. But the law comes into picture. The law provides you, this is moral. The society comes into picture. Society that do the ethical practice. Okay. So business and morals, if you combine together, if your business follows good ethics, their combination is a business ethics. Good moral business ethics come into picture. Relationship between law and moral standards. See, law will tell you something. These people should go. People should not go against the one-way traffic. Okay, this is the law. Okay, so what are the laws and they put certain standards. Law represents a minimum set of standards for producing a desired behavior. Ethics expects more than the legal standards. The legal asks you only basic things, but if you are doing something good in a better way, there comes your ethical standard. There comes your conduct. You are doing not only obeying the law, you are doing more than that. There comes the ethics come into picture. So a combination of ethics and law will be a best person. A common unethical. Now we are all talking about ethics and behavior, philosophy. We should also know what are unethical. Lying, withholding the information, not revealing the information, abusing, misreporting, discrimination, sexual harassment in the institute, in the company, stealing, breaking the laws, falsifying the records, alcohol and drug abuse, giving or accepting bribes. These are all unethical practices. You choose what you want to do. You want to become a good ethical person, or you want to become unethical by practicing these things. Why ethical behavior is important? Why should I follow ethics? I can get away in unethically in the society. You can get away, but you will not succeed. Business is a subsystem of society. It empowers all stakeholders concerned. Ethical behavior. It's reduction of cost of friction with social environment. Important organizations, leaders, because they influence the ethical climate for the rest. You know, in our society, there is a community called Parsi community. Majority of them, just by looking at them, by telling that I was from Parsi, they always follow their family values in a much better way. That's why they achieve great things in the society. Just think, there may be several societies. I'm giving just one example of that. Why ethical problems occur? Why problems will come into picture? Because people want to have personal gain, so they follow unethical practices. Individual values widely differ with organization goals. When the people start working for organization, they start thinking how I get my promotion, how I can get a better facility, better bench than others, better place for work than others. They first look at themselves. But what are the organization wants? That the least bother. So the problem will come. They start practicing unethical things. Managers' values and attitudes. See, managers are important to follow ethical practices. Competitive pressures. So when there is a competition, pressures are there, people do unethical things. Cross-cultural contradictions. So they contradict the cultures, so they start practicing unethical things. How can we get a better, how can we get the environment, and where can I learn the good practice of ethics? Where from there are various norms and means one can get the good ethical practices. It comes from law, it comes from good friends, it comes from your own good family, it comes from your good fellow workers, it comes from your culture which you are living, it comes from regions, profession, employer, society, and also religious beliefs. What beliefs, what religion you are practicing, what that religion believes, you also get ethics from that. Encouraging ethical conduct, whistleblowing. Some people, whenever they see anything, something not good happened, immediately they report and they make the system corrected. They are called whistleblowers. See, for example, you all know there is an RTA Act exists in our system. So people can use the RTA Act to get the information to correct the system. But not many people are using it. This is the problem. Ethical advocate, an ethics specialist who plays a critical questionnaire in top management decision making. It serves as the board of directors, social consciousness. It helps, the ethical advocacy helps to prevent groupthink and blind conformity. See, code of ethics. What is a code of ethics? See, now in Tamil Nadu elections have started. So code of ethics come into picture. So they cannot carry large cash in their in the car and other things. There are many things the election commission has declared. You can go through the net and you can read them. So code of ethics into picture. So there is a code of ethics in all the place of working. There is a people publish it. For example, some institutions like our institute play the ragging is a shortcut to jail. This type of boards exist in majority of the education institutions. The ragging is supposed to be a normal thing in earlier thing. Now it's gone or it's going away because of strict practices of some of the institutions. So ragging is a shortcut or short way to enter the jail. So this type of things, the practices of the institution as a moral value, if the institution declares and strictly follows, then this will go, this practice, the bad practice will go away. requirements for an effective ethics code. It must describe specific practices as unethical. You say that never pays, don't pay tips to the pays on XYZ. There are some of the companies, some of the government officers, then if anybody ask any bribe or thing, please report to me, like that. They put it prominently on the entrance of the building, entrance of their offices, and then they practice it. Must be firmly supported, fairly enforced by top management. If the top management supports these ethical practices, then it's very easy to follow, very easy to implement. That's why now the elections are being conducted not by anybody else, not by government, not by anybody. There's an independent body is there, that is election commission in our society. So that election commission is going to organize the elections fairly by whether, and also will check whether the parties or candidates are doing or followed the code of ethics declared under the election commission. It's also self-restraint. Not doing what you have the power to do is also unethical. You have the power to do, but you don't do. An act proper simply because it's permissible, or you can get away with it. See, if you can do something, it is not proper, because a law, you may justify. Law allows, I'm doing it. As long as the law allows, you are doing, you know that you are doing an ethical thing, although the law allows. How to understand this phenomena? I will give you a very small story out of it. There are two governments side by side. In one government, producing wheat. Hello, somebody is unmute, please. Yeah. So the issue, am I audible? Organizers, somebody can respond. Hello. Hello, Jayshree madam, am I audible? Or anybody can respond that I am audible and visible?
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Very good, very good. So I will be telling a very small story from now. There are two governments located side by side. One government in one government sector, producing wheat or producing wheat by the farmer is very difficult than the other state. So what other state have done it, because the other state where wheat is difficult and it's costly. So these other state people used to transport their wheat freely to the state and then selling at a cheaper price. So government A suffered because their farmers came and make complaint to the government. Look, our wheat is not being sold because neighboring state people have come and selling at a cheaper rate than us. That's fighting. Then government said, okay, call the secretary. Now onwards, no wheat should flow from that state to this state. Put an order and send that order to all the people who are allowing the transportation between the state border. They have distributed it. Everything is perfect. Then the government said happily sitting back. Then after 6 months, something again farmers came. Sir, my wheat is not getting sold. The neighboring people are coming and selling. Then what has actually happened? Then he formed a committee and the committee found out, sir, they are not breaking the law. They are following the law. Now the wheat is not flowing. Then what the hell? And our own people are not purchasing our wheat. Why they are purchasing other persons? No, sir. The neighboring state people not selling the wheat, not transporting the wheat, but they are transporting the wheat powder. They are legally correct because the order says wheat should not be transported, but they didn't say wheat powder. So the gateman, the border force between the states, they allowed the wheat powder to go. So here, what is actually happening is you are morally correct, you are lawfully correct, but you are ethically wrong. The purpose of stopping the wheat is to help the local farmers, not the neighboring farmers. So the story goes again, the government again put, okay, not only wheat, then put wheat powder also. Then also what happened is there is no wheat and there is wheat powder flowing from the states, but chapatis are getting transported. So the people know whatever law says, they know how to break the law, practicing unethical practices. This is a typical example. Going back to, so not doing what you have the right to do. There is a big difference between what you have the right to do and what is right to do. Okay, be careful. What is the difference between what right you have to do and what is right to do? You think greatly on this, you'll get an answer. Not doing what you want to do. Some of the people want to do because of some things, but they don't want to do. An ethical person often chooses to do more than the law requires and less than the law allows. That person is a very good ethical person, very good moral person. Examples of ethical behaviors in the workplace includes obey the company law, obey the institution norms, obey the university's guidelines. That is a good ethical behavior. Communicate effectively. You talk responsibly. You work accountably. Show professionalism in your work. You trust and respect your colleagues at work. These are the ethical behaviors ensures, if you follow these ethical behaviors in any institute, that company, that university will achieve a great level. If one wants to be successful in life, that person needs to follow good morals with good ethical behavior. Then you may ask me, you are all talking about ethical, good ethical, moral, blah, blah, blah. Is there any formula or is there any way to give me success? How to myself get success? Today, I'm going to reveal a secret formula for all of you. Please note down, it is a very simple formula. The formula is S is equal to A plus P by 2. A is academic marks. Your college, your teachers will give you. Your college will give you degrees. You are with a certificate or a first class passed, distinction passed. But P, nobody gives you marks. P, you have to develop. For example, I come across few people, few of family friends who came to me, sir, my son is from IIT. My neighboring son is non-IIT. Both went yesterday to give an interview for getting a job. My son was rejected. My neighboring was asked, what is going on in the society? They are not following the rules. What are they? It is not that they are not following the rules. The person who thinks that he is a great man because he academically is strong, he may be strong, but his personality is low. He is an egoistic fellow. He thinks he will not care for anybody. He will not talk nicely to others. That is the personality. So he will not succeed. That's what I said. Mr. X and Y, you can see here, Mr. X got a distinction in A, 80%, but only 40% in his behavior or a personality. Then the total S is equal to 60% only, 120 divided by 2. Suppose Y got first class in A and 85% in P, then success is 75%. My thing is, all the people, non-IITs or any other college, a simple college, who could not get through top colleges like IITs, they can also be successful better than these others by developing good personality. So all non-IITs comes under the category Y, because in IITs and other things, the personality development is not being told clearly. So the personalities of those people are not growing properly. So remember, in majority of the job interviews, there will be psychologists will be sitting and observing you not to see what you have answered. They observe you and your body movement and to give marks based on how you have answered. So there's a lot of difference between what you have answered and how you have answered. So how you have answered provides you your personality. So what is the morality? I'm going a little bit quicker. I'm running out of time. Another 10-15 minutes I will complete. Morality, because I have to give some time for my colleague, Mr. Sultan, who is waiting already. Morality consists of the standards that an individual or a group has about what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. Traditionally, we all know that some community or group of people never lies to anyone. I already gave you some of the communities in India. They are very, very truthful. They never lie to anybody. They always follow good principles. The term comes from both the Latin, moral means mores, and Greek meaning is ethos. These are the meaning of it, just for you. Each derives the meaning from the idea of custom. What are the customs which you are following? It is derived from the custom the morals have developed. Morality refers to certain customs, certain perceptions, some certain practices of people and cultures. Positive or descriptive morality. Still, some villages exist in the world. They never lock their doors. They put some type of a symbol or a board or put a small stick across the entrance that they are not available. They are out of the house. They never lock the door because they believe that nobody will do anything harm to their house. That type of beliefs are there even in some villages. I've seen some villages in Russia. Maybe some villages are there in India also. Some of the religions, they do a very good thing. They preach great things. Say, for example, one of the religion preaches like this: Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu, sarvamangalani bhavantu. These are the two great principles which the religion. What does it mean? That means all persons in this world should live happily. All persons in this world should have all the comforts. This is the morals, great principles the religion preaches to the people in order to develop good morals. Just how to understand this better. Look at the whole world is suffering now from COVID. And everybody is, wealthy countries and knowledgeable countries, technically sound countries, and having a lot of health care persons, they are producing vaccines. But in the whole world, India is the only country in the world which has supplied vaccine to 70 countries. Can you imagine how many countries did that? We have wealthy countries. They never bothered about the poor countries. But India bothered. This is the great philosophy following those principles of Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu and Sarva Mangalani Bhavantu. All youngsters, remember this. Now onwards, try to follow these great principles. At least, if not in the past, at least from now onwards. How many persons go to the God and pray for universe? Everybody go to the God. God, give me good marks. God, give me great wealth. God, make my son great. My daughter get married to a great person. Oh God, give me personally good health. So they pray only for themselves, maximum to their friends, maximum to their relatives, maximum to their families. But how many of you are going to the God and praying for the universe? Only few people. People does this. They are praying to the universe. How many people are praying? Many, very few people. So you should think and practice to change the world better. These are the people whom you all know that who is Mother Teresa, who sacrificed her life for putting the betterment of the downtrodden people. These are the role models. You should take her as a role model. What is moral philosophy? It refers to a philosophical, theoretical reflection of morality. Ethical theories comes from moral philosophical reflections. And there are moral philosophers. These are all moral philosophers follow all these ethical theories. You can see these two people. They belong to all religions. They belong to all the communities. They belong to the whole world. All the world people remembers them for their contribution, for their moralities, for their ethical practices, their behavior, their perception, their way of thinking. You can do many things like this. They are the humanity of universe. Now, you youngsters has to take a decision today. Which one you want to follow? Whom you want to follow? Systematic endeavor to understand moral concepts and justify moral principles. Moral philosophy analyzes concept terms like right or wrong, good or evil. Moral philosophy seeks to establish principles of right behavior. It investigates which values are important. Look at this man who believed in one major principle, non-violence. You know how he has taken a decision? He was being thrown away from a train in South Africa. How many people know about it? You must have seen a picture, Gandhi. That time he has taken a decision. Why he was thrown away? Whether he has not purchased the ticket? No, he purchased the ticket. Why he has thrown away? Because he is traveling in a first class, where it is reserved only for white-skinned people, not you and me. You are considered as, although we are brown, we are considered as black people. So only white people can travel in that trend. That was the society, that was the norm. So he protested. Why not me? Then he has thrown away. Thrown away with bag and baggage on the platform. There he stood 1 minute, silence, then taken a decision. I want to change the society. I want to throw away these fellows out of my country. Then he came back to India, and the rest is the story. With a non-violence, he has thrown away the mighty British Raj from our country. Morality in religion. Morality usually essential. They have to, all religions should preach good morals. The moral principles are grounded in revelation, divine and religious. A religious belief system should believe in good morals. Morality and law. Laws are created based on good morals. They resolve conflicts of interest. They promote harmony, social harmony, live peacefully in the society. You're all, I will touch upon a few types of managers. That is good managers, moral managers, and immoral managers, and amoral managers. Here, manager means, say, for example, your reporting officer, whom you are reporting to. You're all working, you are going to work, you are going to get a job, or you are already working, you are reporting to somebody else. Suppose if your manager is following good morals, then you are in a better place. If the manager is following immoral things, then your place and the place of working will become a hell. So a good moral manager maintains high standards. He considers important even to aspire to become ethical behavior. He will respect the downtrodden person working with him, under him. He pursues business success within the law, within the morals, within the ethics. He actively opposes ethical behavior in business. If there's a profit using unethical behavior, he opposes. That's a good he opposes ethical behavior. He's an immoral person. Immoral person always opposes the ethical behavior because he wants to get more profit. He willfully ignores ethical principles, a immoral manager. He always leaves legal how to cross the law because he wants to get more profit. There are various examples given as a characteristic of an immoral manager. You can see these are the famous people which many of you must be knowing. They are the best examples following all types of unethical things, all types of immoral things. We all know where they are. We all know how the government is looking for them. Characteristics of intentionally immoral manager. There are immoral managers. I'm talking about not moral, not immoral. I'm talking about immoral marriages. Immoral marriages, they intentionally applies the different ways to get profit. It does not factor ethical considerations. They say that the ethics is different and my business is different. If I follow my ethics, I will not get profit. See, intentionally he is following unethical things. He knows what is ethics. He views ethics as not superior. No, ethics doesn't work here. So inappropriate for tough and competitive business. No, business is competition. I cannot follow. But there are many people who follow ethics and succeeded greatly. As I told you, Tata companies. As I told you, Infosys companies. They follow moral ethics in their business and got a lot of profit. And some of the persons unintentionally doing immoral things. That means they're blind. They don't know about good ethics. So just follow. No. These ethics are outside my business. I follow ethics outside, and I don't know all these things. I don't know understand. So he was not aware of how to follow ethics in their business. They are called unintentionally immoral managers. The source of where can I get good morals? You may ask me, how do you learn my good morals? You can get from your own parents, your own friends. I think I showed you all these things before also. You can get from a musical concerts. You can get from video games. You can get from your church. You can get from temple. You can get from mosque. You can get from internet. There are various, you can get good from good friends. So many places, many movies also, good movies. You can get good morals. You can learn good morals. So I'm coming very close to the end. So values and ethical dilemmas for individuals are the societal values depends upon the personal values. So in that society, who are the persons living, what values they are following? That forms the society. So in the society, what type of corporates are there? What is their values they are following? In the society, what are the professionals available? What type of values they are following? All this together form the society. So if you want to change the society, all these type of sectors need to change for betterment. So what we discussed so far is, we have discussed about research problem, we discussed about philosophy, we discussed about ethics, we are talking about different philosophers. We can also talk about how philosophers have changed our society from the past. If you don't know what society has changed, please go through the history. Our society passed through many hurdles. Our ancestors have suffered a lot to bring it to the present day society. But this is not enough. You, as a good philosopher, who are going to get degrees, that means you are branded as a doctor in philosophy. You are getting a doctor of philosophy, that is PhD. You need to change the society for betterment. My last word is, you are all going to doctoral degree. One day, you know who are our great philosophers, which I showed you with pictures and which I have described you how they have contributed to our society for better barbarism. But this is not enough. We need to more philosophers like you. Be a great philosopher and change, not just getting a degree and getting away. Be a great philosopher and live, make the society of all the people to live comfortably. I repeat, Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Sarva Mangalani Bhavantu. These should two things you shall remember and follow in your future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening speech. This is very informative session, sir. Today we have got a secret key to success, and we assured we stick in ethics, morality, and philosophy also. As a youngster, I do try to follow the Maha Mantra hereafter. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, how to stop it? Huh? Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Now the session for questioning. Participants, if you have any questions, please post it in chat boxes.
Chat box.
Participants, you can feel free to ask the questions.
Maybe you give them some time for them to think about the questions. So
Okay,
let
sir.
Dr. Sultan complete his talk, and then
Sure.
later on also I'm available. I will answer even after that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I'm not going away. Although
Okay,
I will stop my video and do some other thing, but
Okay,
I'm
sir.
available and listen to Dr. Sultan also. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's start the second session now. Now I call upon Ms. Belzini Glacia, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, to introduce the resource person.
Good day to one and all present here. On behalf of Department of Computer Science, Agachan Manual Jain College, it's my great privilege and pride to introduce our distinguished chief guest, Dr. Sultan Khalifa Haroon A. Rashid from Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, Australia. Dr. Sultan has gained a bachelor degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Anna University, Chennai, Masters in Nanotechnology from Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. He has awarded doctorate in Applied Sciences from Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, University, Australia. His research pronounced in developing highly sensitive gas sensors to detect low concentration of acetone, which is regarded as a biomarker for diabetes, and such acetone detections could be used for nano-invasive diagnosis of diabetes from human birth. His achievements are enormous to speak about. Due to the shortest span of time, I would highlight the main aspects to flourish in academic life. He had a well-researched endeavor and work experience in material science and engineering at King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, Saudi Arabia, and applied chemistry and sciences at Royal Melbourne University, Australia. He has a renowned multi-specialized personality such as co-founder, Big Enpass Private Limited India, co-founder and CEO of Chroma Circles of Science Foundation, Australia, executive member, Institute of Engineering and Technology, Australia, from the year 2016 to 2017, volunteer of UNESCO, New Delhi in the year 2015, student support officer of University of California in 2012, president of Rotaract Club of Syed Amal Engineering College, Tamil Nadu from 2008 to 2009, and awareness speaker of Tamil Nadu AIDS Control Society from 2003 to 2009. He is an eminent speaker of various international seminars and webinars. His awards and honors are remarkable. He achieved Australian Global Distinguished Talent Award 2020 from Australian Home Affairs, He was chosen one among Australia's top 20 young innovators in 2018. He secured champion and People Choice winner of 3 minutes thesis competition. He was one among 6 Australians' best science communicators in the year 2017. He secured Indian Republic Day Gold Medal for Education from Government of Tamil Nadu in the year 2009. We are very happy and proud to have a multi-talented resource person of this session today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Technology will not replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. It is a time to start our second session. It's my privilege in welcoming Professor Dr. Sultan Halifa Haroon, a research fellow, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, to address the gathering. Sir.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction, madam. And I thank all the organizers from the college for organizing this. I also thank Harinarayana sir to take me as his partner for this lecture today. I think you all can see my screen now, yeah? Can you see my screen?
No, sir. Your video only visible.
Okay, let me share the screen now. Can you see it now? Can you see the PowerPoint now? Can you see it now?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Oh, fantastic. This is a statement that I always hear from Harinarayana sir. The real problem today is to find a real problem. You know, there's a lot of solutions around, which is pretty easy to and viable to find, but finding a problem is very, very difficult, especially when it comes to the field of research. Identifying a right research problem is the most important thing. Since this lecture is mainly focused on research ethics, and I'm going to introduce quite a few tools that could support you to have a very successful research career. At the same time, to practice research ethics in all capacity you can. Okay, now we all talk about impact factors. You know, impact factors are so important because to rise the standard of your research, at the same time to get scientific collaborations, to become an editor in a research journal, to become a speaker in scientific conferences, and also for applying for grants. Only when you have high impact factors, you become a very credible person to apply for all these things. So I am going to introduce a few tools today that will help you to publish high impact papers and also to maintain research ethics in different capacity. That is the theme of my talk today. Okay, now, when it comes to research, there's only four questions, sorry. What is the problem you have chosen to work on? What others have done in the field? What is your hypothesis? How are you doing it differently? If we manage to ask every time why, what, when in science, that is a research problem itself. Now, let me practice the first thing in research ethics today by a research title. What happens is a lot of the time people tend to copy others' titles and change a few words here and there. What happens in this context is when you consider I'm a reviewer and I have reviewed me, the first thing I do is cut, copy, paste the title of your paper. So in Google, and as we all say, Google can find everything. Google will bring out some of the already published papers. And what will happen is, this is the first place I check your research ethics. What I will think, oh, this person tend to copy. So do not copy titles from others. At least every time you frame a title, cut, copy, paste, and self-examine yourself into Google. if you Google cannot find your title, then you have come up with a unique title. And also the reviewer would also be very happy with your title. At the same time, you have not copied anybody's title. So choosing a title itself, the first step of research ethics, and you got to be very careful in terms of coining your terms, not in coinciding with others' title. Now, we all have this thing called a figure of content, which comes with the title, which has to be very unique. A lot of the times I find people copy even the figures from others, only change a few things in the figures. Now, there's also research ethics. When you take something from the internet, you have to acknowledge from whom you have taken these pictures. It is allowed that you copy images from the internet when it comes to a review paper, but not in your own paper. Now, there are technologies that can also identify whether even a figure is copied from somewhere. So please be careful and follow ethics here as well. Do not copy anybody's image. The reviewer get very upset when you do that. So try to draw your own images, which I'm going to give a lot of inputs in the coming slides to clarify this as well. Okay. Now, abstract. Abstract is the third step a reviewer check your research ethics. What many people do is sort of copy somebody's abstract, change few words here and there, and try to check plagiarism on it. And finally, they come to a conclusion that, oh, this is a good abstract. First of all, I'm going to give you some tips how to write a good abstract. Number two, and also to follow the research ethics on that. An abstract should at least be read by 10 different people, and it should be a standalone text. You know, when somebody reads your abstract, they should understand what is your problem is, what is your paper is about. For that, there's only three things you got to do: what you have done, why you did, and how did you find, what did you find in it. Say, for example, if you're designing a vaccination for corona, or you synthesizing a vaccination for corona, what you should do is, I have synthesized a vaccination for corona, and these are the medical setups and techniques that I used, and this is my research outcomes of my inventions. So when somebody reads your abstract, they should be able to identify what is your research work is. At the same time, following the conditions of the publishing company is also equally important protocol, and it's also in research ethics. Some journals say your abstract should not be more than 250 words. Please follow that. You know, when you basically neglect that, the reviewer also get offended, and they think that they haven't followed the ethics of the publication committee. And you see two things here. One is Shakespeare. The other one is other person is Einstein. Einstein is for a strong science content, and Shakespeare is for a strong English content. Make sure your abstract doesn't have spelling mistake, grammatical errors, and it is very comprehensive and read worthy. Now, again, the same sort of things when it comes to your introduction of the paper. So when it comes to introduction, make the reviewer very curious just by reading your review paper. Here also, research ethics play a very important role. Look at the 5-6 lines that I've written. You know, when you start your introduction, you basically address a world generic problem, saying that, hey, look, these are the problems around and why this project I was chosen. What are the currently existing techniques? What are the existing techniques drawback? And what are the recent advances that has come on the what are the recent advances in the field of science right now? And you say, how are you going to do it? I'm really sorry, I'm sneezing a little bit. I got a bit unwell this morning. Here, the research ethics come into play when you're addressing others' work. All you do is you quote few journals saying that These are the works that's been done. Excuse me. I'm really sorry. These are the works that's been done. Excuse me. These are the works that's there. What people do is when they don't like somebody, excuse me, when they don't like somebody, they sort of write something bad about the work. They say, this person, excuse me, this person has done something in this field and they have not done enough. So they accuse people in there. So this is something that should be avoided. Be very honest. Be very honest in reporting what you report in the introduction. Do not accuse people of which is not they are referred to. So play a very important research ethics on that point as well. Now the motivation. I show this image just because this is an image that changed so many people's life in Kerala, the state in India. This is graduate, and what the student did is his father consumed alcohol just because he could not bear the smell of the sewage. So there's a lot of issues in the family. So he thought, if my father doesn't go into this sewage, probably he won't drink alcohol. So he designed a tool to clean these sewages automatically. So this went into the ears of the Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, and he immediately made a policy in the Legislative Assembly that no human will clean human waste anymore, and they will invent machines. So this is a big motivation for research problems. Look around the problems around you. Look, it's not really ethical to put a human into a sewage. So look around problems. When you think of ethics, that's where you develop research questions. At the same time, we can also develop research questions right from that problem. Say, for example, if the student did not think about an ethics of his family, ethics of his father, the respect that he deserved, probably he would have not invented this this amazing thing that is going to come in prevalence across the state. So what I'm thinking is we really have to think about how a person with us or how a fellow researcher with us feels about certain thing. This is where keeping the laboratory clean, respecting others in the laboratory, respecting their work, not copying others' research come into play. Say, for example, back in Australia, we make sure no matter if someone is a professor or assistant professor or a PhD student or a bachelor student, if it is our research area, we make sure we clean it, keep it tidy, and we do not leave anything in the sink. We also respect what if that reaction could harm any sort of danger to everyone in the lab. So this is basically an ethics in the laboratory. Even when we test certain medicines or drugs on the mice or on the zebrafish, we also think of a lot of ethical points in there. So as a researcher, it is very, very important to have this one picture. It's a testimony for that. Okay. Now I come to the most important part when it is research. A lot of people do not do a very thorough literature survey when they start their research. This is absolutely unethical and not acceptable. You have to do a very, very, very strong literature survey, and you have to be a master of your own literature. I also like to share a very interesting case that happened a few years ago in Australia. What happened is a student accused his supervisor that his supervisors did not guide him to a good research. So it went into the education code, and the code said, reading a literature is solely the responsibility of the student. The supervisor cannot take care of a student's literature survey. The student should have identified his own problem. So what happened was, the student should identify his research problem, and the supervisor is nowhere responsible for that. What I'm trying to say from this is, it's your own. You cannot accuse of you not doing a thorough literature survey. At the same time, when it comes to literature survey, it is very, very important that you sort of understand your work, which itself an ethics for science. You have to share your idea with your supervisor, consult with them. A lot of people in India, what they do literature survey at the end. That is when they write the thesis. By then they would have done something, and later find out that this work has been done 30 years before, 20 years before by somebody. So if you really want to avoid this sort of confusions, make sure you read literature very well and understand that nobody else have done your work pre-wrote. So this is a very important task when it comes to research ethics as well. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about core journals. Nowadays, this journal has also becoming a business, publishing a paper. So you pay a certain amount of money to a publishing company and you can get your paper published. If you see these sort of open access journals should be completely neglected. If you think that you like to publish a paper and you're paying money for your own work, it's a sort of bribery. So this should be completely avoided. Make sure you publish a paper in a good journal, which is not a predatory journal or a paid journal, which is against the science. Say, for example, a lot of these open-ended journals do not have any good work. They sort of write something, they make some pictures, which is not so useful. And finally, they pay some money in order to literally sell this paper off to the internet. So this is where we got to be very careful, and we should think of research ethics on these lines as well. Okay, now there's also a certain way to read papers. Say, for example, when you're working on certain area, please read the keywords of the paper and check whether those keywords align with your area of research. Once that is satisfied, go read the abstract and the conclusion. This is why I insisted that the abstract has to be a completely standalone text, which anybody can understand your complete work through your abstract. Then when you think your abstract is pretty good, come down to conclusion and read the conclusion to confirm that this is your area of work. Finally, the last part is the introduction, then the experiments, results, and discussion. This is an absolute way of reading a paper very effectively. Puvarasi, can you please put your... Thank you. And there's also one more thing, which is a really bad thing that happens quite a lot, is reporting wrong phenomena. Say, for example, I'm showing a picture of my research work where I synthesized zinc titanate nanoarrays, and I heat the material to 350 degrees centigrade and passed on light, and I subjected it to different conditions. So if you don't really understand the phenomena of what's happening behind your research, is also a bad ethics to me. A lot of people report wrong things, which is absolutely not acceptable. Because say, for example, if I commit a lot of mistakes like this, reporting wrong phenomena, later when somebody reads my paper, they will understand the wrong science. So this leads to a continuation of mistakes, not just from me, but also from the future. I would just want a minute of break, and I'll continue it in a second. Thank you. Thank you very much for allowing me to take the break. My next room was getting a bit noisy, so I have to tell them. So it is very, very important to identify the right phenomena when it comes to research. Only then you report the right thing to the journal, and the readers also understand right science, and this tradition continues. At the same time, if you want to become a very efficient scientist, it is very, very important to understand what's happening in your area of research. So understand the concepts. Only then you can reproduce that, or you can teach it to others in an effective way. If this thing is not followed, then definitely research ethics are completely ignored. Okay, now I told you that I will introduce few tools. Here is a couple of tools to arrange your literature. Number one is a Mendeley software. The other one is an EndNote software. These are all virtual bookshelves. When you download a paper, mostly we sort of store it in a PDF format in folders. Later, when you want to find out what is what, it is very difficult for you, and you will waste a lot of time in doing that. So Mendeley is a very free, it's a free software. It's super easy to play complicated games like PUBG and so many other things. If you play with the software, you will find it how easy it is. It's literally arranging a book shelf by shelf. You download a paper in one area of research and you go put it in that folder. That will also arrange the names and everything in a systematic order. I'm going to show you how I do that in a minute. Say, for example, when you're downloading a paper, you have this option called, I think everyone can see my screen, yeah?
Yeah, sir. Hi, sir.
Sure. Google Scholar. Google Scholar search. I'm gonna find a paper on zinc oxide or anything. You can be from a commerce field, you can be from computers, mathematics. Nowadays there's a lot of research is evolving from that area. God, this internet. So Mendeley, basically what does it does, it just collect all your data and arrange them in a format. Whenever you download your journals, there will be an option called citation. You don't have to do anything special to use these softwares. Okay, zinc oxide based ultraviolet photo detectors. So here you see view fill text, download PDF, citation expert. When you go just click that citation export, it will download a file. So if you just put that file into your EndNote, it will put everything that's here. That's the title of the paper, who is the author, who published it, what is the censor 2010, and it will also import the PDF version into the Mendeley software. So literally a bookmark of your paper. All you have to do is just click the citation export and drag the citation export into the this. Even if you have 1,000 papers, now you will not have any confusion in maintaining your papers, I believe. So continue to use Mendeley software, or EndNote is a bit expensive, but Mendeley is completely free. Now, I won't introduce all of you to Academia. Academia is an online way of sending papers to you. What it does, you have to go log in and register your details in Academia. Academia will, and also send some, type some keywords of your research area. So whenever there's a new paper published in your area of research, Academia automatically send that paper to you. So you don't have to do much. You don't have to go search for your area of research. When your keywords are correct, they will automatically send papers to you. Now, it is very, very important in research to identify your competition. You know, who is your competitor and what sort of research you do. A competitor in the sense, say, for example, you're doing research about rockets and somebody else is also doing research about rockets. It is very important to keep taking update of what is their research is about, because you've got to go visit their website and read what they're doing. But make sure you do not copy any of their work. You know, in Asia itself, it's a very common culture to copy somebody else's research. This is a reason there is not much interdisciplinary research is being generated from India, because people are so afraid. What if I go tell my idea to them and they will sort of copy? So, which is not a good thing. So when you hear an idea where somebody share an idea with you, or even your own competition, no matter even if you're not supposed to, Satyalakshmi ma'am, can you please put your mic on mute? So it is absolutely important, like I said, to follow your competitors, but not copy their work. Say, for example, you're doing some work and they're also doing a parallel work with you. You can also have a conversation with them and say, like, you know, can we collaborate and things like that. Okay, now, like I told you, when I started the presentation, this hypothesis is the soul of your paper. It might look so unprofessional to have a heartine and a bulb in a technical presentation, but I want all of you to remember both of these. You know, this ethics, this hypothesis is the heart. The ethics is the heart of your research work, and this bulb is the hypothesis. That is the background science of what you're doing. So please follow both of it. Then you will be able to definitely publish high impact papers. Okay, every time when you do a research, ask yourself how, why, what, and when. This is absolutely, absolutely important in science. Once this question is not asked, either you're doing a scientific mistake or an ethical mistake. How you're going to solve a problem, why you're solving this problem, this both, and also when you're solving a problem is an ethics question. But when it's to science question, how is this phenomena happening? Why is this things are happening? And when is this happening? Say, for example, the sunset and the sunrise itself a best example for this. I don't want to go into a chemistry or a physics problem. How the sunset is happening, why the sunset is happening, and when is this happening? If you understand this question, or if you seek answer for these three questions, you will be able to understand the whole astronomy part of the sun. So please keep your mind open and learn the hypothesis behind science, which is an absolutely important research ethics. You know, you call yourself a scientist, you call yourself a PhD scholar, and you do not understand this very basic things and a bad ethics. Okay, now I would like to come to the most important part. When you do experiments, whether it is coding, whether it is physics experiments or an experiment in the chemistry laboratory, or you're manufacturing a rocket, whatever, inventing a medicine for corona, it's absolutely important to follow every single step and report the right outcomings. A lot of people tend to fake graphs and they say a lot of lie these days just to get their paper published, which is completely unacceptable and unethical when it comes to research. When you report wrong, say for example, you say that you're trying to invent a medicine for corona and you don't really make it very open what sort of ingredients are there in the medicine or what could be the side effects of the medicine. Which is bad, and you got to keep things transparent to people so that they don't have any fear of using that medicine. Medicine is just an example, but there's so many other things that I can mention. So make sure when you do experiments, do a complete experiments or a coding or a survey, whatever that's related to your area of research. Make sure you get a complete 100% perspective and you with the right information. Today information is everywhere. You Google, you get to know what is what. You get also of information from Google. But the thing is, everything is true. There's a lot of research paper out there, and most of them have, not most of them, there's quite few of them have fake results and fake graphs and fake explanations, fake hypotheses, just to publish that paper. You got to be very, very, very careful about this matter. Am I communicating the right thing? Am I conveying a true message to the society? So this is the most important thing in this the whole ethics part. Okay, now, after publishing some papers, you will also be a reviewer. Be very fair as a reviewer. Do not look partiality. I was listening to this very interesting lecture from Harinarayana sir, who spoke just in front of me. He spoke about religion, ethics, everything is applicable everywhere, nature. When you become a reviewer, be very fair. And if some papers are not qualified to published in your journal, give them a very valid reason why that paper is rejected, what sort of developments they can improve. Sometimes your competitor's paper might come to you. Examine them fairly. Do not reject that paper just because you don't like the person. A lot of the times this has happened. We tend to reject people's science just because we do not like that person. I think this is really bad, and this sort of mentality should be thrown out of the science window. No matter who you are, what you are, no matter who is your the other person, you got to have an intellectual relationship when it comes to science. Do not bring personal emotions into it. If you're bringing in personal emotion, then you have completely rejected the ethics in science. Okay, now again, a very interesting tool, and here also ethics plays a very important role. People tend to copy others' work when it comes to abstracts and introductions. Grammarly plays a very important role in correcting your mistakes. Most of the time, the papers from India, they're so afraid that they will make mistakes in English. That is the reason they just copy somebody else's lines and context. So Grammarly will help you outrate that that process. Write anything on your own and use Grammarly to identify spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, so that you will also improve as a writer. When it comes to science, writing skills are very, very important, and Grammarly is a free software which will help you to write good things in every capacity you can. Okay, now, like I told you, some other tools, I made these pictures using Word and PowerPoint. This sort of give a good impression to the reviewer that this person has put a considerable amount of work in designing this paper. So get to know Word and PowerPoint. These are all, you might consider this as an old tool, but they're really, really powerful tools in terms of science communication. And also, I would like to introduce you to the software called Blender. What Blender does is, it's also free software. You can design any sort of graphical things using this. Nowadays, the most of the chat that I have with Harinarayana sir, we joke, we crack a lot of jokes. I remember, I would also tell something like his perspective. No matter how beautiful you are, you definitely have to put on a makeup on the day of your marriage. So same applicable to the journal as well. No matter how strong your scientific content is, you got to decorate your paper to a little bit extent to sell that off in the market. So these figures and these diagrams will boost the confidence of the reviewer that this is a good work. So remember this phrase: no matter how beautiful you are, you got to put a makeup on the day of your marriage. Automatically, this phrase will make your paper look good, and you'll also take a lot of initiatives to convey ideas, communicate science in a very effective way. And like I told you, nowadays there's a lot of fake graphs, which is completely unethical thing coming on. Use this software called Origin. Usage of Origin could definitely enhance the quality of your graphs. And sooner or later, I'll also schedule a time to explain you all how does this Origin. Making graphs in Origin is much, much better in comparison to Excel. If you see, these are all some of my work. You can see how legible this graph is, and the results are very, very transparent for the reviewer. Making the reviewer understand what is your work is also a part of ethics. Not manipulating your results is also a part of research. I say all these things at the end of the day. You may not be there, I may not be there, but your papers is going to be out there in the internet. And later, when somebody else take wrong informations from you, that is an absolute distraction to science, that as researchers, we all got to be so careful about it. Okay, Turnitin, or there's also a software called Urkund. You can use both of them to avoid plagiarism. First of all, plagiarism itself an unethical thing in science. It's not just in science, anywhere. Copying others' work is absolutely unethical. But in case you're allowed to reproduce somebody's work. You can read it and rephrase it, but don't just directly cut, copy, paste. So when you rewrite it, use this software called plagiarism, which will use this software called Turnitin, which will completely neglect and will also tell you that from where these papers are being words are being taken. I'm going to show you one of my work. Okay, I hope you all can see my screen here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, if you see this chapter 5, I've done a plagiarism checkup on it. You see these numbers 12, 128. This is a document that is completely written by me. Even then, you all see a surprise that it says this paper has 35% plagiarism. 34% similarity index. You know what does that mean? Just because the references are here and you see this complete color marking, it means the whole entire line is copied from somewhere. I can't change the references. I have to take exactly what is there in the internet. So it also tells you what does this one means. That means you have copied this one from this paper published by www.mdpi.com. Likewise, the number in correspondent to the sentence there tells you that where this is copied. Then what I did, I completely took off all the references. The similarity index went to just 5%. So this is how you use the software to check plagiarism. It's very easy. You have to just upload your paper into this Turnitin software, and within 5 minutes, it will send and report to you back saying that this is the plagiarism report. So do not copy anything from others. If you copy, at least rephrase it. Now, it is also very important to report to others that how does your research experimental setup look? How does, what is the, your research setup look as a block diagram? Most of the time, we do not need to share this to anybody, but people can also learn from this methods. Now, this is again an ethics problem in India. There's a lot of difference between someone who contributes scientifically to your paper or someone who help you to achieve. Say, for example, if someone give you 200 grams of chemicals, you cannot add them as an author. It's just a mutual help. You can acknowledge them by saying that this person has supported our work. A scientific thing means someone who contributed scientifically to the paper. I also see in India, someone says that, oh, you are my friend, can you add my name in the paper, which is an absolute unethical thing. You're not allowed to do that. There's a lot of difference between acknowledgement and also getting an authorship in the paper by contributing to science. So do not add people if they do not contribute to the science part of your paper. And rather, you can acknowledge them if they have really done something. And do not add your spouses, do not add your wife, husband, just because they are your family. This is an absolute ethics, and also acknowledge people who deserves. You know, when it comes to this first author, second author, third author, measure the work of people. Say, for example, an undergrad student or a bachelor student has, or a PhD student have done a massive amount of work. Just because you want to give the seniority to people, don't add them as the first author. If someone has done a good work, if it is his original, he should be the first author, which is also a very important ethics in science. So I would like to acknowledge a lot of professors who taught me all these ethics. And I wholeheartedly thank them for the scientific input and also their they've also molded me as the person I'm today. And just because not for them, I would have not grown as this person, following a lot of research ethics in my life. And I practice workers as well. And I also acknowledge Raja Muhammad sir, the Dean of Academic Research, Hari Narayana sir, Director, Sponsored Research, and Khurshid Alam sir, Deputy Research of Crescent University, for their warm communication, support, encouragement, and collaborations. I also thank the college for Jain College for organizing this lecture and giving me this opportunity to share my views. Don't worry, when you do right things, sometimes you might fail, but dealing with the rejections is very important. But that is okay to fail, but for taking wrong steps or crooked steps to achieve what you want to achieve is something not acceptable. Do not do anything unethical to achieve things. Rejection is better than being unethical. Follow that in every step of your research. I usually respond to emails in 24 hours, and this is my email address. Feel free to contact me whenever you'd like to contact. I'll be more than happy to support you. Don't worry, everything will be fine, but make sure a paper or a patent or a grant is just a part of a researcher's life. But ethics is something, your character, that's something you got to follow all your life and transfer that ethics to the upcoming generation. And I'm a very fierce climate activist, and I will also like to tell you, throwing a mask, throwing a polythene bag, throwing a bottle of unfiltered water on the road, cutting a tree is also and unethical thing to science. So we all have to be mindful of that. Climate change is real, and the world is going to face much more destruction if we continue to rise this global temperature. So as a scientist, please be mindful of that and do something about it in your capacity you can. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I would have another 5 to 10 minutes for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Participants, if you want to ask any questions, you can post in chat boxes. Sir, Harinarayana, sir.
Yes, I'm available, madam. Tell me any questions.
Sir, one madam has posted a question. Explain the impact factor in most important research journals.
Yes. You know, madam, I think Dr. Sultan has already explained in his talk, and she must have got the answer. If not, the same thing I will continue. That impact factor actually describes about how many people are reading your particular journal, and how many times the papers published in that particular journal has been referred again for repetition. For example, if you see a journal called Nature, and it has got a very high impact factor, 30, 40 of that level. But if you take a normal journal like any other thing, it could be, there are journals like 0.5 impact factor. So why is 22 and 30? Where is 0.5 and 0.15? So the 0.15 and 0.25 journals, they are not being read by many people. It is not that the paper is bad, but the workers, the research workers who are working in the particular line, there may be limitation. See, for example, in Nature, the papers written on life and biology and zoology and related to human science, read by many people. That's why the citation for the paper will be very high. So while I was telling that impact factor is one of the criteria, but it doesn't mean that impact factor is the only criteria. See, what we need to do is, instead of looking at the journal as an impact factor, go for a good publishers. There are only few or handful of good publishers like Springer, like Elsevier, like Taylor and Francis. You know, there are few good publishers. So any journal published by them can be standardized as a standard. Don't worry about the impact factor into your first carry. You get on with the publication, because if your topic is popular, many people are working, then more people will refer to you. So the impact factor of the journal also increases. If you are working in a very narrow down and very few people are working in the direction, so the number of people who are reading your paper also limited. So impact factor of that particular journal will also be low. So you should not worry too much about impact factor of that particular journal. But there are very other relations which we need to do. For example, the standard publishers like Springer and Elsevier and etc. So you need to look for that part. Thank you.
So another one is asked, is plagiarism tool is expensive?
Yeah, I think Dr. Sultan, can you answer this? Is already he mentioned about Orkund and also Turnitin. Turnitin is software which is using checking the software, I mean available software and acceptable software by UGC also, but it's very expensive. Yes. Dr. Sultan, can you add more on this?
So it's not that expensive, sir. It's not that expensive for an university or a college to buy. Probably, which is pretty much 5,000 or 6,000 rupees, and a lot of people can use it. So I encourage your university to buy Turnitin software. Right after that, I'm happy to assist you on that process as well.
Sir, another question is the difference between paid journals as well as unpaid journals.
Okay, the major difference between paid journals and unpaid journals do not have a proper quality assessment because all they want is just money. It's like when you're without a helmet and you bribe a traffic officer, pay some money and get through it. This is what an unpaid journal does. But a paid journal is like traveling in an aeroplane where you have to go through so many checkups and finally take the journey in a sophisticated way. So this is unpaid journals are really cheap when it comes to technical ideas, quality of the content, quality of the problem that's discussed. And whereas a proper esteemed journal is a very, very proper science peer-reviewed work. That is the reason it is very competitive to publish in unpaid journals, especially Nature, Springer, and other formats. So we should definitely avoid publishing in paid journals because nobody will respect that paper down the line. If you come tell me that you have 10 papers on certain journals, which is you paid money for that, I will never respect that. And nobody in science will respect that. So it is, like I said, it's a very cheap way of tipping a police officer to hide your mistake of not wearing a helmet. I think that answers your question. I'm sorry if I'm very blunt.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. One more question. One more personal question, sir. How much impact factor that are expect to join PhD from standard universities?
Okay. I published a paper in my undergraduation itself, which had a 3 impact factor. Then I went to University of California, Berkeley, then to Imperial College, London, and different parts of the world. Definitely a good impact papers makes a lot of difference when it comes to your admission to those universities. Nowadays, students from China and Iran apply with so many papers because right after the bachelor degree or the master degree, they work in a laboratory for 3-4 years, they build their profile, then they apply to foreign universities. But whereas in India, that's not completely a culture. Not everyone know that strategy. So when you don't have good papers, universities like Stanford or Oxford or University of California, Berkeley, National University of Singapore will not consider that as a publication. They will think this or someone has done something for a time pass. So it is very, very important to have high impact journal. High impact journal dictates your quality of research, again, your ethics principle, and also the content of the journal. So with good at the same time, impact factors also vary from journal to journal. Say for example, in the field of civil engineering or mechanical engineering, there are certain core journals. Core journals will have only an impact factor of 3 or 4, but for their field, publishing in that core journal is a big deal. It is very, very difficult to get through that. For us, for material science, we have Nature, which is 54 impact factor. So you can't really compare 33 impact factor with 54 impact factor because both of them are different area of research, but the quality of the journal, not in terms of number of the impact factor, but the reputation of the journal plays a very important role. I hope that answers your question. So try and publish in reputed journal for your own field. Harinarayana sir, does that make sense?
Yes, that's right. Very clear.
Thank you, sir. One more question. What is EndNote? Whether Mandarin and EndNote are same?
What is your question?
What is EndNote? Whether Manly and EndNote are same?
Yeah, they are both the same. They both are same.
Can you explain what you mean by EndNotes?
EndNote is also software like mentally. I think you should Google the person who asked this question should Google both of it, and they should learn more about it. YouTube videos have a very clear instruction how to use these softwares and how to download it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And one more question. TOEF, EFL needed for PhD in Standard University.
All the foreign universities, a country that doesn't have English as their first language, need English language requirements. There are three different kinds of English language requirements. One is a TOEFL, the another one is IELTS, and the other one is called PTE. Countries like Australia, New Zealand, and Canada accepts PTE. TOEFL is a widely accepted English language testing system across the globe, but United States prefer that more. When it comes to Europe, Britain, and other Asia, the IELTS is very prevalent. So, but all three are accepted by most of the universities. When you want to go abroad to study, you definitely need these three qualifications. Not three, any one of this, sorry.
Okay, sir, thank you. Some of the people have asked links for journal papers like ACI and Scopus.
You know, this is also again a question of self-work. Anybody who works in a certain area of research, the first thing they should do is get a database of their area of the papers that they could publish in their field. So go do a good Google search. You know, when you're a scientist, when you're at a level of a PhD or a postdoctoral researcher or a professor, you should definitely do a lot of homeworks to identify your own area of journals. We know I may not know your area of journals. So that's something you got to do it by yourself. And I encourage everyone to do when they start to do research, identify the core area of research.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your very valuable speech. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from our soul. It's my pleasure in inviting Dr. Aruna, Coordinator, Department of Computer Science, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this special occasion. I, on behalf of Department of Computer Science, Agachan Manmal Jain College, Shift 2, extend a heartfelt thanks for making this event a grand success. First of all, I would like to thank Almighty God for making today's function a great success. I express my sincere gratitude to our beloved Secretary, Associate Secretary, for their support, encouragement, and guidance in organizing this event. I especially thank our eminent resource persons, Dr. T. Harnarana, Director, Energy and Sponsored Research and Consultancy at BSAR Present Institute of Science and Technology, Vandalur, Chennai, and Dr. Sultan Khalifa Harun Al Rashid, RMIT University, Melbourne City Campus, Victoria, Australia, for giving valuable insights and information about research ethics for research scholars and staff having interest in research. Thanks to the eminent speakers for ordering the session and gracing this event in their busy schedule. Wholeheartedly, I thank our director, advisors, chief manager, senior coordinators, and coordinators of various departments and teaching and non-teaching staff for their guidance, encouragement, and enthusiastic support in conducting this workshop. This type of event cannot happen overnight. The wheels start moving about a week ago. We have been fortunate to be supported by a team of very active and dedicated staff for their untiring efforts and cooperation. I also thank Mr. Yuvraj, Mr. Mubin, and technical team for their excellent support and arrangements who worked behind the scene to execute this event. My special thanks to all who actively participated in the event and made this event a grand success. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's finish the session with national anthem. Thank you all. Participants, your feedback links are in chat box. Kindly all fill it. Thank you all once again.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Thank you for our nice talk and nice gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your enlightening speech, sir.
Yeah.
So we have got a very good eminent speaker, sir. We have learned a lot from you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Participants, please fill the feedback form. Your certificates will be delivered batch wise. As we have huge registrations, the certificates will be delivered batch wise. Thank you.
Session